Hey everybody, it's Linda. Today's Wednesday, April 15th, and I know a lot of people are receiving stimulus checks and I guess helicopter money, for lack of better words. I want to shift the focus on today's topic off of money just for a few minutes, because on multiple levels, on multiple dimensions, there's a lot of things going on. Even if you can't perceive that in your reality yet, but you sense it and you're just waiting for confirmation on the outer world, just ride with me on this thought for a minute, because what we're all going through as a collective right now is extremely potent and challenging for so many people out there. If you look back at the Schumann Resonance, you can track that daily. I'll leave a link. It's now become part of my description box in a lot of videos. But when you're looking at the white, and that's the fifth dimensional energy, the people that tracked it and were keeping up with what was coming into Earth and coming into the planet on multi-dimensions, when we would see a white long strip, it was exciting because that's fifth dimensional energy, and it was more and more. And some days there was lots of viral videos and things going around saying, oh, it was a whiteout, and did you see that 2-hour period? And one day it was this high, it was this. There was a lot of excitement about it. But if you've been following it, there was a lot of code that came down. I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago. Could have been a little more, a little less. I don't really have the date right now. Time is evaporating for me, but there was also a black strip. There was a bunch of code. I keep it as a background picture on my phone just to remind me. There's a bunch of code, a black strip, and then ever since that black strip, we've been getting blobs of long periods of time every single day, minus a day or two. There might have been just a few strips of it. And I'm thinking Saturday was one of those days where it wasn't that significant. But the blobs of white that you'll see on there are hours, anywhere between 2 and 5 or 6 hours, sometimes longer, but at a time, every day, we're getting bombarded with high frequency love and light. It's cosmic, powerful gamma rays that are blasting into this space that you're occupying on a daily basis. So there is a lot of things that the universe is asking us to let go of. And I want to talk about one of the hardest things. So stay with me for a minute here, because it's important. We're all going through it. And we're being asked to find our own personal center, our own personal balance, and conduct our own personal healings. And some of that goes with writing relationships. And when I say that, sometimes there are people in your lives that you have to let go of, and it's not an easy thing to do. You have relationships that may go their separate ways forever. And most people out there have been through a time period in their life where they've had to let go of somebody close to them, or somebody close to them walked away, or went a different path, you'll call it. I want to liken all of this to waves that we're riding. And we're riding some pretty big waves together. And here's the thing. Sometimes little waves break off from the bigger wave. They want to forge their own path. They have their own energy current. They have their own way that they want to go. And sometimes those waves do get caught back up in the bigger wave as it's going to shore. And as we're all riding the big waves together, if there's little waves that go off here and there, it's part of the natural order of things. And whether or not they come back, it's like, if you love somebody, set them free. And if it's meant to be, they'll come back. There's an old saying that goes something like that. And what I want to say about that, there's been people in my life in the past that have been toxic, or we've had to part ways, and some are harder than others. Let's be honest. But I think when people have somebody in their family, let's just say somebody really close to them, it could even be a spouse or a parent or a child, but you could have aunts and uncles, you can even have friends that you consider like family. And when the time comes, if the time comes with certain people, and the time comes that you have to pull back your energy and let them create their own wave of energy, going their own way. When things like that happen, the feelings, the emotions, the raw emotions that go with the entire storm of a breaking wave, those emotions are pretty tough to handle. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes you may have the emotions that are like, okay, good riddance, or you may have a feeling of, okay, this is best for both of us, and it's not so painful because the time had come where it was time to part ways, and both parties may feel that way, or maybe only one party feels that way, and that's on the easier end of things. But then on the other end, on the opposite end of things, sometimes there's traumatic events that happen that sort of force your hand. And if they're the people that you love the most, and the universe is literally, think of an ocean wave, waves coming in. Think of an old like fishing pier. There's like poles that stick up. Think of something like that. No, let's make it bigger. I only see the Jersey Shore, and I've only seen a few other beaches, like one down in Florida or Nag's Head maybe, but it's all like Atlantic coastline. So there's no big stones, like little mini islands or stones that are in the water. But a long time ago, back in '90, I saw the Mexican, I was out in Puerto Vallarta. So I got to see a few of these that I keep snapshot memories in my mind about how beautiful that was. But try to imagine that. Instead of a pole sticking up, try to imagine a big rock, Mother Nature style, off the coastline. So, and a big wave coming in, and the rock is just there. And when the wave hits the rock, it crashes. Like it literally forces the wave to separate. And that is what some people are going through right now. And I know some of you are probably going through this right now. That is a hard break. That is the universe's more or less saying, this needs to separate. You need to let go of this for a while. Now, whether that wave comes back together again on the other side or whether or not it's ever meant to be is just time will tell. We don't know our pre-birth missions, but we sense things about what our life purpose is. We sense things about what the mission is, and yet it's still so much bigger and grander than we can imagine. So letting go of relationships in your life that may need to just go another way. There's a lot of people that the universe is kind of saying, okay, you didn't figure this out before, so now here you go. And it's like a trauma, and it's a trauma for a reason, because out of trauma comes growth. And that's ultimately what you can hope. That's all that you can hope for out of the biggest traumas in your life, is not to be dwelling emotionally on the pain of the past. Because in any traumatic relationship break where somebody may or may not be toxic, but maybe the period of time of separation needs to happen for processing and growth. And if it has to happen traumatically, I feel for you out there. Anybody that's going through the pain of a traumatic relationship break right now. And it just occurred to me too, I'm talking about the living, but there's a lot of people out there that there's a lot of souls that have agreed to leave during this time. So this goes for anybody who's suffering the loss of somebody close to them as well. It doesn't mean all getting rid of toxic relationships. When a relationship has served its time and its purpose and its greater plan, for whatever reason, if you don't let go, you're almost being forced to. There is a divine plan somehow in that, because Otherwise, sometimes you would never let go. But when people die, that's also a form of relationship separation, even if it's just for a time being. We know our loved ones still live on, and we are excited for the day that we will reunite with them. But we trust in our hearts that it goes on. But I mean, imagine the reunions. Imagine how people would feel if they got to see their loved ones again while they're still in a body, while they're still incarnate in a body and their loved ones passed. Imagine if there was a reunion, and however that may manifest, wouldn't that be some pretty cool stuff? So no reason why you can't think about those things. I've had dream awakenings where I've seen it, I've lived through it, and it was a very real world that I was in. So it's almost like I have that knowledge of knowing what it feels like to be reunited with my son, and he was very much alive. So like having that kind of lessens the trauma of the separation. But the separation, that's the kind of thing that can be so traumatic for people. And my heart goes out too, because I feel for you. There's relationships with people that aren't dying that are being forced to undergo a severe overhaul because perhaps views and perspectives may just be completely at odds. And through no fault of your own, you may be asked by the universe and the divine plan and the divine timing to let go of somebody closest to you, or some relationships that seem like they're very, very special to you for some reason. And if you're single and alone, or, you have a loss of like an animal or a pet or something like that, that can also be a very big trauma. So the traumas that are still going on right now, this is like the trauma of wartime. And these traumas will too be healed. Someday they will. And I believe that. But I also know the pain and the suffering, and I am right there with all of you guys going through that at this very moment. So I just want you all to go easy on yourself and to take some deep breaths and connect to nature when you can. If you've got a plant sitting in the sun, sit next to it. Just sit and be at peace. Turn off the TV, and maybe on YouTube go to, I'll put this link again in my description box for 528 hertz playing in the background. I've got a 9-hour channel I've been playing almost 24/7 in my house. So it's really helped a lot. You just play. I don't know if you can hear it now or not, but listen, let's see. Can you hear that? It's so peaceful, but it brings your rate of vibration back up again. So if you've been through emotional trauma or pain or anything like that, I also wanted to introduce you again. I did this early on when I first started my channel. I have this app, and it's called Beatfulness, and it's incredible, and it's evolved just in the last year so much. I know there's an in-app purchase, but if you download the app, and each category that they have, there's at least 1 or 2 free beats, music, hertz, healing. There's sacred geometry in it. I absolutely love this app so much. I'm just giving it a free shout out. And I'll see if there's a link I can put for that. Or you know what? Why don't I do this? Why don't I show you what the app looks like? Oh, wait, I can't flip my camera around. Okay. Anyhow, I actually reached out to them to ask them, because you can have a monthly subscription to it, like $1.90, $1 or $2 or something, and you can listen as much as you want, monthly subscription, or you don't have to download anything. I mean, you download it, you don't have to pay for anything. There's a lot free in there, so get it. But also, if you want to buy the monthly subscription one, that's one thing, but there's also a lifetime purchase that you can make. And I think when I got it, I want to say it was only $10. And then it went up to 15, and they kept adding more beats and making it better and better and better. I think it's $20 now for the lifetime. And you can listen on any of your devices. And every time there's an upgrade, you get that. And oh my God, their customer service is amazing. Anytime I've had a question or couldn't get something downloaded like on my new phone, they answered the same day. I had the answers. They're great, awesome, awesome people there. So I reached out to them to tell them that I was going to give them a shout out on my next video. And I wanted to see if maybe they'd be willing to offer a discount for my subscribers, for you guys, so that, you know, if you download the app and then you get a special code, that maybe you can get the discount. We'll see. If they come back with something, I will let you guys know. As of right now, I haven't heard back, but you know, that could be something they're trying to work on. Anyhow, it's still worth every penny. And I'll put the name of it down in the description box if I can't get a link for that. So it really helps you guys. And I love you. Thank you for your support. We are getting through this. The best is yet to come. I really believe that. No matter what you're going through, there's always somebody in a worse position. Always. There's always something else that's more horrible than what you're going through. So just remember that. You're never alone. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.